Hey there, please excuse my quarantine hairdo. My grandfather's growing out his beard, and frankly, I'm jealous because I can't grow one. So I decided I'm going to grow out my hair. I don't know. I can almost ponytail at this point, although it looks kind of dumb. Anyway, I wanted to talk about this show on Netflix I'm watching, and I'm probably way late to the party. It's that Tidying Up show with Maria Kondo. And basically it's her, she goes through and helps people organize things and such. And I have a weird relationship with things, largely because of my upbringing. Our house was very cluttered at my mom's house growing up. My mom was dealing with sleep apnea, depression, and trying to find work and unemployment and different things like that. And the house kind of fell apart at times. And even at one point the government got involved, and they kicked us out for a little bit and made it way worse because that's what the government is good at, in my opinion. But regardless, I have a weird relationship with stuff. I like things. I like buying things like everybody else. I like selling things with copy. But at the same time, it's a burden. I don't think I appreciate it and blah, blah, blah. So anyway, I'm watching the show and I'm getting something out of it. And I actually might go back later and try to extract more copywriting points from it, because I think some of the things are very transferable back and forth. But I just want to talk about one of them right now, which is her concept that everything should have a place, ultimately, in your house. Like, so if you want to keep something, you need to have a proper place for it, because ideally a place that'll spark joy out of you. And I think this could be related to copywriting, particularly with sales letters, I would say, because there's a specific way and order you can go about explaining things, and to kind of take the reader through a message and ultimately, hopefully, get a sale. I mean, that's the idea. Anyway, some people have really complicated, 39-point checklists and stuff to figure out the best way to do this, but I don't think it has to be that complicated by any stretch. But at the same time, there is a dance you have to take them through. There's a certain way you have to do that, and I've heard this from Ben Settle related to the idea of the way that we order at restaurants. The waiter comes, they get your drink, they ask you if you want appetizers, they go through this whole song and dance, and pretty much everybody does it the same way everywhere, at least in America, and then they do it a little different in every culture. Like when I was in Australia, it's way more of a leisure experience. It's very much like the English way of dining, as opposed to in America. We're a little bit faster paced at it, but at the same time, it's all done the same way, because that's the way people want to be sold when it comes to food. I mean, that's the ideal way to get the most money. They've worked on this. This is what they do. Anyway, my point with this is that with a sales letter, you're doing the same thing. I mean, you start off with a headline, hit them with a subheader, short little introduction, and that should very, very, very quickly lead into your story, the narrative of your product, which is the biggest point, in my opinion, because that's what ultimately gets the reader. But either way, in the Gene Schwartz ideal, each line leads to the next line. So really, each sentence should only get the reader to go one more sentence. And that's why I say that everything has its proper place and order amongst the sales letter. And I can go more into it with somebody if they wanted to. It's just a lot easier to go over one-on-one, and frankly, going over people's sales letters already, going it with them and going over the revisions right there. I find that to be the most helpful. But anyway, just what I was thinking. Anyway, have a good night, and hope if you're trying to tidy up for the summer here, I hope you're successful like myself here. Thanks.